Others may only list a whole name. If labeled, enter them as labeled. Use the USB token rule for unlabeled names. First name. So you go from the first letter from the left until first space. So if the name was John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith, John is the first name. On the last name, you go from the first letter from the far right left to the first space. John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith, so Smith is the last name. Include both parts of commonly accepted two-part last names, like i.e. Van Horten, San Mateo, or Hispanic last names. Middle name, everything between the first space and the last name. Like John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith, so Jacob Jingleheimer is the middle name. Okay, for the Hispanic names, we know that these can get a little tricky for a lot of people. And so they include both the mother and the father's names. So the child's name would be Eloise Jasmine Gonzalez Espinoza Cervantes Perez. So the father's name is Juan Cervantes Martinez. Mother's name is Maria Perez Sanchez. So Eloise's last name is Cervantes Perez, and both should be entered as the last name. So the household name is Cervantes Perez. And just here's some examples of how we would like you to do it. So up at the top, the kid goes by Scotty Hells. On the legal document, it is Scott Drew Hells. So if you put it in as Scotty Drew Hells, that's not going to match up if somebody else puts it in how it says on the birth certificate or the legal document. So you want to make sure you do it exactly the same. Here's another one, Carlos Munez. So for the USB entry, we would want you to put Carlos Munez.
Do not put the tilde.
Yeah, and do not put the tilde. So DJ Van Houten. So his legal name is David James Van Houten.
Yeah.
So on the USB entry, it is David James is his legal first name and Van Houten is the last name. And rule of thumb, everybody, is please mute your mics. The rule of thumb is if you're not sure, just double check in the SSID system and see what somebody else has put in. The last LEA that has had this student, you can always contact them and double check what they have also. Just remember, we don't want the easy fix to just get them an SSID number. We want these to be correct. So Carla Jensen is the next name. And so her legal document says Carla Juanita Gold Jensen. So you would put it in Carla Juanita Gold Jensen. Okay, Elijah Woods Jr. Legal document, Elijah Michael Ray Woods Jr. And notice there is no period behind the junior. Please just keep that in mind, or else you will get fatal validation errors on the SSID side. And so USB entry, Elijah Michael Ray Woods Jr. April Augustine. Okay, so legal document, her name is April Sprints Before Antelope Augustine. So here's how you would put it in USB. You'd put April as the first name, Sprints Before Antelope, middle name, Augustine is the last name. Allison Sorensen, Allison Rose Jones Sorensen, Allison first name, Rose Jones middle name, Sorensen last name. Please, whoever doesn't have their mic muted, please mute it. Okay, so here's the Eloisa Jasmine Gonzalez Espinoza Cervantes Perez. So in USB, Eloisa, first name, middle name, Jasmine Gonzalez Espinoza, and Cervantes Perez is the last name. Okay, so from here on, and this is how we would really like you guys to do it. Instead of just doing it from the SSID site, we want you guys to create files from your SIS system and send them up through the SSID. So you can do a retrieve. There's 4 different kinds. You have a retrieve, new, update, and verify. So your retrieve process is request an existing student's SSID. So you will upload a file and fix errors, or you can cancel errors and reprocess the file. And then when you download the response file back into your SIS, you should see the rows that you canceled. You can print this out, and then you can find out what you need to do to fix these. And then you will just upload another file. And you would just do this process until you have everything cleared up on the retrieve before you move on to the new SSID file. And just to let you know, we did around 3,000 merges this year. So we just want you guys to go ahead and just really be careful with these. We know it's confusing at times with names, but try and just do as much as you can before you grab a number for them. So on a new file, what this does is request a new SSID for a student enrolling for the first time in a public or private school in the state of Utah. You will upload this file and fix errors, or you can cancel errors and process the file. And then the same thing, when you download this into your SIS system, you could print off the errors that you have, you can fix those, and just repeat the process until you have no more errors for the new. An update. This changes the attributes for a student that already exists in the SSID system. This files for students' names, birthday, and gender changes that have been done in your SIS that need to be updated in the SSID system.
She's like, you can make changes and update SSIDs if there's a gender change.
Okay, also, enrollments will be updated and synced with the UTREX database. So I would recommend doing an update file at least once a week. A verified file determines if the student's SSID and attributes as recorded in the SIS match the SSID system. Can you guys please mute your mic? Okay, now, like I said, the verify it determines if the student's SSID and attributes as recorded in the SIS match the SSID system. This includes all students and matches LEA ID, LEA school ID, student ID, name, birthday, and gender from your SIS to the SSID system. Also, I would recommend doing a verify once a week after you do the update and before any testing, October 1, December 1, and year-end submissions. So this is just an example of on the SSID system, this is where you would go for your uploading of the files. So you would just click on the file, upload, request file, and then just choose your file that you have saved on your PC from your SIS, and then you would just hit upload. So on this, if you see anything where you have like a validation error on the right where I have the arrow, that is saying that something is wrong within your file. If you click on the validation error, it's going to give you the rows in your file that have the errors. You would just go back, you would cancel this file, you would go back and create another, make your corrections, create another file, and send it back up. And once it comes in, you can see if you get this file to go through, and you will, it says it's complete. You'll see where it has received, failed, queued, posting, preparing, download, all those buttons on the bottom. If it goes all the way through and you have no errors, then you can just go ahead and hit download, and then you can download it and put it back into your SIS system. So if you need to upload more than one request file in the same day, remember to change the name when creating the file. So your first one you send in, it has your request, your LEA number, the date, and then it has the numbers like 000. So just remember, the next time you send one up in the same day, you want to change the 000 to 001. And you do that if you do more than one or two or three. Just keep incrementing that number. Okay, so now there's a manual process, which we really don't want you guys to do. We would rather you guys send up files, but if you need to, you can. So when searching for a student in the SSID system, do not enter full names. You use about 3 to 4 letters of each of the names. And the reason why is spelling could be different. Somebody could have put the spelling in wrong at one time. So if you truncate those.
Letters and find the right person, because some people have the same name.
Okay, and the reason why is this is why you should enter it in your SIS system as it shows on the birth certificate or other legal documents. Can you guys please mute your mics? So here's an example of a search. You could just go in and, like right here, I have best student as the name. So in the last name, I would just put in STU. First name, I just have BES. And of course, we have no students that come up because they're all great students. But if you did, you would have a list down here, and then just remember to do your best to get a match. Also, make sure you use the sound index search, and that helps a lot. So when you have found the student that you think is correct but does not match exactly, contact the previous school the student attended and double check to see if it's the same student. If it is the same student, you would retrieve that student's SSID, or if it isn't the same student and there are no matches found, you would create a new SSID number. Okay, on the merges, like I said, we have done quite a few of these, so we really just want you guys to be a little more diligent in doing some background checking on these. So when requesting a merge, please make sure that all attributes are the same and all LEAs agree to the merge. The ramifications of a wrong merge and needing the merge to be revised can cause missing or incorrect test scores or students losing an opportunity of scholarship and acceptance into a college or university. We have had problems of trying to get the, when undoing a merge, there has been some missing test scores and stuff like that on some of the students. So just be very careful before you do a merge and make sure it is the same student. Okay, so make sure it is the same student. Contact all LEAs associated with the merged away SSID, the larger or newer, and verify it's the same student. Use the SSID user contact list off the SSID web support tab for LEA contact information. I know some of you guys have printed this PDF off, but since we haven't had a programmer for this, the best thing to do is use the tab at the top of the SSID web page, because that is updated. Whenever we put a new person into the system, they'll be added to that. So look in the student history under the student location section for all affected LEAs, and that is who you will need to contact. Okay, so when you're sending in merge requests, you would send it into the SSID help at schools.utah.gov. So please remember that all primary attributes must be exactly the same for both SSIDs. And what the primary attributes are is your first, middle, last name, gender, and birth date. And if they don't match exactly, then you will get an email back saying that they don't match. Please have this fixed. And when you get this email back, please try to get these fixed. Sometimes we have emails that go unanswered, and so the merges don't get done. And so we try to follow up with people as best we can. And SSIDs are not PII, private information. You're allowed to send these in emails as long as no names are attached to them. Below are a couple of examples of what we would like in the email. So if the requesting LEA is the only one involved with the merge, here's what we would like the email to be. So on your subject line, just merge request. And in the body of the email, just put, please merge the following SSID numbers. Then you'd put the numbers. And then in there also say it only affects and whichever LEA you are. Put your name there. So if not, option done, because when we look at the names, we'll go, oh, these really don't match. So it's better to have that in the email and let us know that there was an adoption. And then also you'll see with the SSID to keep, they also put the LEA number off to the side, and that's the one that they want to be kept. So remember, we'll keep the lowest if nothing is specified, and don't send any identifying information in the email about the student. So here's just an example of what I've done. So I have, please merge the following numbers and keep student number, I can't see. I have verified parents' names with Susie at Da Vinci and Jamie at Davis. Da Vinci has agreed with the merge. And the reason why Da Vinci is the only one that needs to agree to the merge, because if you look at the bottom number, that's the number that's going to be merged away. So they're the ones that really need to agree with this, because they're the ones that have that number that's going to be going away. So all LEAs will get a response email, and excuse me for a minute. So all LEAs that are affected by the merge are notified by email. LEAs then should check their SIS system to see that they have the kept SSID. If not, make needed changes. Updating the data may be necessary in your SIS. And now we are going to go with the questions. So if you have any questions, we'll go through those now. But also, if you need more help, like on a more one-on-one, you can call us on this number and choose option 1, and we'll be more than happy to go over this with you guys at any time that you need help. So if you have any questions, I'm going to close this, and then you can put, where is it? Where is it? Oh, I cannot find my, okay, right there. I'm trying to get to the screen where I can see who wants questions.
Oh, the chat.
Yeah, but
So, lost audio at 9:14.
oh no.
That's the one we got, and then they want the slides, which we'll send to them, right?
Okay, yeah, but how do I make this?
Down at the bottom, click your little.
Can you hear us now?
I think, yeah, down here.
Yeah, but that's not it. That's jabber. Are you guys able to hear us still?
On your share.
Audio has returned.
I know, but that I'm trying to find.
Audio's returned back.
Okay.
There's no questions besides the slides right now.
So nobody has any questions. So if you don't, we are recording this. We can send you out a copy of all this, the PowerPoint. And again, like I said, you can just give us a call and, excuse me, and we'll be more than happy to help you guys.
Melanie does have
Becky?
one question about, can this be done on a Mac?
Okay. Yes?
Okay, you're responding to me. I just wasn't sure if you could hear me.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, and thank you for responding to my question I typed for you. So I've had to go and I've manually had to like create new students on occasion. What I'm noticing though is when I go into my normal LEA lens, down there toward the bottom where it says like new students and stuff, that's not clearing out. How do I get that number to 0 back down? Because I don't think I have any new students that don't have LEA number or SSID numbers at this point, but yet it shows I've got like 30 or something like that. That number keeps getting bigger. Is it because I'm just doing something wrong there?
Well, it's because you're doing a manual and it's not clearing out from your SIS system. And
Okay,
sometimes,
how do I clear it out?
okay, sometimes try doing a update and verify and see if that'll
Okay.
clear those numbers out. And that's a lot of times that's why we like you guys to use the files. And for one, that is less typing that you have to do, less errors, because if you're using the files, you're just uploading and downloading between the two systems.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, and that's kind of why I started doing it manually. That whole process of uploading, and I know you guys have spent a little bit of time just one-on-one with me, going over how that worked, and how you go through, but there's all those different options, which, you know, I know you hit upon just a little bit this morning, but didn't go into too much detail on as far as like what each one of those options does, and, you know, like canceling a row and
Right,
all those
and the
options that
reason
you have available.
Ryan, and the reason why I couldn't is because I cannot share other people's information. Like I would love to actually go through that, you know, the whole process. But when we're doing meetings, we can't because USOE does not have a test in the SSID system. So I don't want to show other people's information. So if you need more help, call in. We'll walk
Okay.
through it with you again.
All right, if you don't mind doing that, sorry I have to do that, but that might
No,
be what
that's
we'll have
fine.
to do.
That's fine. Just
That makes
call
sense,
in and we
though,
can help you.
that you can do that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, Ryan. Anybody
That's all
else?
for me.
Nobody else? Okay, if there's no more questions, then we'll end this right now. Then see how painless that is? I know you guys love this process, but we are willing to help. So reach out to us if you need help. Thank you.